Guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Sales Factory. I'm your host, Coach Carroll, and you just got me in this one, baby. This is a special edition of the Sales Factory, an AMA, which is Ask Me Anything. If you're not a millennial or younger, you probably don't know what AMA is, but it's an Ask Me Anything. And so over the past month, my team has been tabulating and putting together a whole host of questions that we've had submitted to us from Twitter or X and LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube, as well as emailed in as well. So shout out to everybody that has sent questions in for this AMA. I'm super excited about it. I'm doing this on the front side of a whole day worth of podcasting, or I guess a whole afternoon of podcasting. And so I'm pretty excited because this afternoon we've got some really cool guests coming through, but I wanted to take some time on the front side here, and we're probably in the middle of the season, right? And so dropping some new episodes for you guys. And I said, hey, let's do an AMA. I think it'd be fun. I've never done it before. And so, yeah, let's hop into this thing. And if the questions that I say or read today, if they don't hit home with you, or maybe you're like, hey, man, I'd like you to double tap on that and go a little deeper, right? Or maybe double click. Double tap would be like shooting. Double click on that and go a little deeper. Happy to do so. So let's get this thing started. First up, we got Marcus from Dallas. And so I've got these guys pulled up here, the questions. And so Marcus says, I started my business 3 years ago. Sweet. Congratulations, Marcus. And I've had some solid success, but now I feel stuck. We're making money. Good. But I'm constantly in the weeds, putting out fires instead of actually growing the business. How do I step back and scale without falling apart? Marcus, appreciate you writing in, man. And listen, guys, this is like, you know, the levels of business have different levels of challenges and problems, and right. And so this happens oftentimes in business to where in the very beginning you're broke and you have all the time in the world. But then if you're fortunate enough for your business to get customers and get traction and start to grow, what ends up happening is like, then you have less time, but more money, right? And so Marcus here, he's 3 years into the game, which sounds about right. Congratulations, because a large percentage of businesses don't even make it past the first year. And he's having some success, but now he feels stuck. And so, listen, I'll give you guys the delegate to elevate. You guys have heard me say this before. You have to be a good delegator to your team. Now, something that Dan Martell, one of my coaches, has helped me learn. I just got back from SAS Academy. I was in San Diego. Was out in Cali for like 10 days, met some really cool people. And I went to SAS Academy. And one of the things that I've learned from Dan Martell in his book, Buy Back Your Time. If you guys haven't read that, I highly recommend it. Marcus, I'd recommend this for you as well. If you're feeling like you're putting out fires instead of actually growing the business, you probably haven't either delegated appropriately, right? So maybe that's number one. You haven't delegated appropriately, meaning there aren't clear instructions of what done looks like, right? So I'll walk you guys through a framework here in a second on how to delegate. But if you're not delegating properly, right, what done looks like and handing those tasks off, then maybe your putting out fires is reactionary, meaning that your team is coming back to you with this follow-up questions. They're not necessarily fires. And again, these AMAs are going to be short. A lot of this is like kind of like going into gray area because I don't have full details, and it's always difficult for me to like coach or consult if I don't have the full story. But if your fire is like, hey, your team members are coming to you because your idea was like half fucking baked when you handed it to them, that could be a huge problem, right? Like maybe you're not putting it all together and wrapping it with a bow before you delegate it out. And I'll teach you guys a framework here in a second on that. The second thing that could be happen is maybe your team is incompetent, meaning they lack the training, or they could lack the skills or knowledge, right? And so get it, want it, have the capacity to do it, right? Do they get what you're giving them? Do they want to do it? And then ultimately, do they have the capacity to do it? Because let's face it, sometimes people just don't have the capacity to do it, right? Sometimes people just can't do what you're asking them to do. And it's your job as a leader to identify when that is the problem and figure out how you can help those people, right? And so, like, either move them to a different seat on the bus or get them off the bus altogether. And so, maybe that's a problem there. And then if the other thing that I see a lot of entrepreneurs have problems with, and man, it's really just our generation, is that they can't put the phone down. They can't be where their feet are. And I'm very fortunate. My very first sales coach, who's now retired, Chuck, he used to tell me, he's like, DJ, be where you are. Like, be locked in. Like, have full focus, right? The word focus has like been eliminated from our dictionary because nobody has focus anymore. But if you want to get to the next fucking level, you have to be able to focus. You have to be able to put your head down, focus on things, and do high level intelligent work and have focus. But if that's your struggle, right? Like you're putting out fires because you don't have enough focus, or you're terrible at setting boundaries, which comes into the focus because you're like, well, what about, I don't understand boundaries and focus. Let me unpack that for a second. If you cannot put boundaries on yourself, meaning that you can't sit through a lunch with a prospect or a client or a team member without constantly fucking checking this thing, right? Bing, 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 tweet, tweet, tweet. Like, if you can't sit through an hour without checking your phone, you're the problem, Marcus. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, but you're the problem. You have to increase your level of focus. So now let's work backwards. Maybe Marcus is great. He leaves his phone on silent, right? This thing right here, I've got one of the new iPhones, the little top button on the side here. If you guys see that in the video, if you hold that in, it puts it on silent, like no notifications come through. It's one of the first things I tell students when I'm coaching them. Silence your device. Turn all notifications off. Do not become dependent on your phone, and do not let your phone interrupt you throughout your day. So we've solved that. Marcus is like, chill out on me, Coach Carroll. I'm good, bro. I'm good with my focus. I'm locked in. I don't need no help on that one. Okay, cool. Now let's go back a step, where I talked about the framework piece of it. Okay, because I want to teach you guys this framework. I learned this from one of my business coaches, Linda. She said, DJ, when you delegate something, there are stages to delegation, right? It's, hey, I want you to take this and just run with it. Don't check with me. Just get it done, right? Here are my complete instructions. You can take it, just take off with it, run with it, get it done. Let me know when you're finished. That's the highest level where everybody thinks about, right? There are also other levels where if you think someone doesn't have the capacity, if they don't understand, or if they don't get it, right? You might say, hey, here's a task or here's a project. Now let me have you go do some research and report back to me before you take it to the next level. Right? Delegate it, let them go research, they bring it back. Another option would be, hey, I want you to go look into this, right? Because those are the two opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Like, just go research and come back to me with your findings, or just take it and go run with it. There's also one in the middle that says, hey, I'm going to delegate this to you. I want you to go do some research. I want you to formulate a plan, and then I want you to come back to me and say, hey, this is what I think we should do, right? Here are the options. Here's what the best option is that I think that we should do. And I do this with my team, right? Like, if they bring me a problem, like, don't bring me a problem without potential solutions, right? I got enough of my own problems I got to solve. Right? We out here trying to take over the world, man. We trying to get a 9-figure exit. Don't be bothering me with stuff you ain't even spent some time figuring out, right? And so I would tell you, Marcus, to look at your framework. How are you delegating to your people? Maybe you're not delegating at all, man. Maybe you're the air traffic controller in your business, and everything, every decision, every communication has to run through you. But those are hopefully some frameworks, some ideas that can help you out, my man. I appreciate you writing into us. Next, we got Emily. Emily from New York City, NYC, in a building. My man Kevin Span up there in New York City. So Emily says, I follow a lot of successful entrepreneurs online. They all seem so confident. Meanwhile, I struggle with imposter syndrome. Feeling like I don't belong in certain rooms, or that I'm not big enough yet. Have you ever dealt with this? And if so, how did you push through? Yes. I still deal with it today. I was on a call with Patrick Bet David's team the other day. They're coming to town for Derby, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm on a call with their team talking about possibly hosting them for Derby. Like, this is wild, right? Like, I'll tell you this. I heard this one time that imposters don't get imposter syndrome. Listen, take that one to the bank, right? Imposters don't get imposter syndrome. I've said this to Andy, our creative director, as well. He was struggling with this in the past, where he would like put out content. He's like, I don't think it's good enough, but then I go see these other people's work, and I'm like, damn, I'm 10 times better than that. What happens here, Emily? And I appreciate you writing into us, is that when you have imposter syndrome, it's you kind of self-checking yourself against your beliefs. And so I think what happens is like we think like there's no way I could be at this level right now, right? Like there's no way that I could be having this phone call, talking to this person, being in this room, setting up this meeting. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest downfalls is this is like self-limiting beliefs 101, is if you are having imposter syndrome, you unfortunately could hinder your own growth. Because think about it. If I don't think I deserve to be in that boardroom where the big deals get done and all the guys are sitting around the table that I need to sell to go to the next level, then I'm not going to make the call and do the legwork to push to try to set that meeting up to get in that boardroom. And so your self-limiting belief that you don't deserve that is going to hold you back. It's not even about what happens once you're in the boardroom. It's not even about how bad you fumble through the pitch. It's not even about that you're weak on asking for the close. We're self-sabotaging ourselves before we even get in the boardroom. And so I'll tell you that I still fight it to this day. And you'll probably have to ask somebody that's more successful than me, that's made it to a higher level than I have. But, I've lost. There's an ego check thing that happened to me like right around the time I turned 30, to where I started like kind of second guessing myself and like head faking myself of like looking around and thinking like, man, is this just like a flash in the pan success? Like, what happens? And I'm even going through it now, right? My son will be here in June. My wife's pregnant right now, and I keep telling her, I'm like, I just keep feeling like, man, it's all going to get taken away. It's all going to get taken away. And I think that's what happens when you build something from nothing. If you guys remember the story about Elite Fitness, right? My gym that I built grew at 300% 18 months and then lost it all. Those things are like battle wounds or like trauma scars, right? And so I think there is a certain level of that may be impacting us psychologically. Would be really cool to have a guest onto the show. Maybe we can find like a clinical psychologist to dive a little deeper on that. But, your question is, have you ever dealt with this? And if so, how are you pushing through it? I deal with it on the daily, and you just gotta, you gotta swag yourself up, man. You gotta talk great about yourself. This is why words are so important. I just told my team this morning, 70% of communication is body language. And so, like, if you're listening to this on the audio only, you're probably not seeing my body language, but you can hear it, that I'm moving around, and I'm excited, right? Because there's pitch, pace, and articulation. Tonality is important as well, right? It's another big chunk. And only 7% of our communication is words, but damn, do those words matter, man. If I'm constantly walking around New York City and I'm going, my name's Emily, I don't deserve to be here. My name's Emily, I don't deserve to be in this meeting I'm headed to. My name's Emily. I don't deserve these big clients. I don't deserve these dreams, these goals, these ambitions that I've set for myself. Guess what? You're going to be right. And so I think that's the self-fulfilling prophecy, is that we have to speak kindly to ourselves. We have to speak kindly to ourselves. And so give yourself a break, Emily. You're crushing it. I know you're out there doing big things. You're in New York City. You're doing something, right? But don't be afraid to pep talk yourself, man. Look in that mirror. Look into the eyes of yourself, and find that a little bit of motivation down in your soul, and say, hey, it's my time. Let's do this. I deserve everything I got coming to me, right? And believing that God is setting you up for success, not failure, right? He's building you up. He's building you bigger than probably anything you could imagine right now. I look around my life right now, I'm like, I didn't dream of half of this stuff, man. Only God can do it. Appreciate you writing in, Emily. Cool. Let's get another one in here. Got Trey from Atlanta. Trey says, I always hear people say, work smarter, not harder. That's a big, I love that saying. But that's easier said than done. When you're wearing every hat in the business, what's the biggest shift you made that helped you work smarter and actually see faster growth? Cool. You got to take all the hats off, man. You can't do it all yourself. I saw Andrew Tate say this the other day. You know, if you're trying to win the race by yourself, you're competing against teams of people, teams of investors, teams of great talent. You can't win in business by yourself. I syndicated my first real estate deal when I was 26 years old with some investors out of Chicago. You got to have people in your corner. So, Trey, I'd say, first and foremost, stop wearing all the hats. Hire some team members. Get some people on your team to help you out, right? I'd say that's the first thing you could do. The biggest shift for me that helped me work smarter and actually see faster growth, really, team, delegate, hiring people, but really, man, it comes down to automation. If you can figure out a way to build automations inside of your business so that something that you're doing all the time, you no longer have to do all the time, right? The automation maybe helps you out and allows things to repeat themselves. Like, I'll tell you guys, we just picked up a huge efficiency increase with some artificial intelligence that we implemented. About a 65% pickup last year for our creative department, the way that we do creative. And so, I'm super bullish on this AI thing. Do I think that the robots will eventually come in and take over and that'll be the end of us? Sure. Skynet, right? That happens. But what happens in the meantime between now and there? And nobody knows what that timeline is. Is it 5 years? Is it 50 years? Is it 500 years? Nobody knows. But I will tell you that artificial intelligence is a game changer. And the ability to use a program like Zapier to build integrations in your business so software can talk to each other, to build some software if you need to inside of your business, it's huge. And I mean, think about it, guys. Like, think about something as simple as QuickBooks, right? So QuickBooks has been around for a long time, and they essentially helped business owners stop keeping books, right? Like, if you're a millennial or younger, you probably don't even know this, but like, accounting used to be kept in books. Like, there was an advertising expense account book. There was a uniforms expense account book. Like each account kind of had a book, and this was what cooking the books meant, was that you would little fugazi. But QuickBooks did away with that, and they created software, and then it made it more efficient, right? So I think in your business, Trey, you're wearing lots of hats. Figure out what you can delegate. I'd say the 4 Ds, right? Delegate it, delete it, delay it. There's one more. Delegate. Decide. Decide's the other one, right? And I apologize to the author. I can't remember what book I read that out of. This is what happens when you read over 160 business books. Is like, I remember these frameworks are super powerful. I remember these frameworks, but I don't remember where they're from. So if you can just do it, right? Just decide to do it. If it takes less than 2 minutes, just knock it out. Or you can delegate it. Or you can delay it. Say, I'm not dealing with this decision right now. Or you just delete it. Say, hey, I'm just not doing that, right? Christine, my executive assistant, she handles my inbox, my calendar, my travel. And I just had to make a decision. Like, I'm not going to spend time doing this anymore. And so bought me back time, back to Dan Martell's book where we started at originally. And so that's what Trey, I would say from Atlanta, hot Atlanta down south. Biggest shift I made was the 4D framework. Do it if it takes less than 2 minutes. Delegate it out to people that can do it better than you or find more joy in it, right? Like, my CFO nerds out about QuickBooks. I don't. I do it because it's a necessity, right? Bookkeeping. So it's like, make the decision on where your core genius is. Cool. Grab a quick sip of water, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Welcome to the Sales Factory. If you're just joining us, we're doing an AMA, Ask Me Anything. I'm super excited about this. Let's do a couple more of these questions here. So I got a sales question here. So this is good. David from Chicago says, Coach, I've always relied on referrals for my business. Fantastic lead source. But I know I need to step up my sales game if I really want to scale. The problem is I hate feeling like I'm selling to people. How do I close more deals without feeling like I'm being pushy? Aha, this is a good one. I love this. David, appreciate you shooting this question in. So listen, the reason why David feels like he's being pushy when he's not dealing with a referral, because the referral is a laydown, man. That's like, you know, that's the big girl at the bar at 2 a.m. Like, it's easy, right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna get canceled for that one. That one's gonna be bad. But listen, you got to understand, David. If you're getting referrals, people are calling you and they're saying, "Hey, Mrs. Johnson said you did a great job at doing X, Y, and Z for her. I want you to do the same thing for me, whether it's insurance, roofing, whatever it may be, right? I'd love for you to come over and submit a quote or whatever." You feel like you now have permission, right? And so this goes back to the idea that you need permission to close, right? You need permission to sell to somebody. You don't want to feel salesy. You don't want to feel pushy. I talked about this in last month's podcast, but you have to remember there is no value transacted until a deal is closed, right? No value is transferred until a transaction occurs, right? And so what I would say is, like, don't feel like you're being pushy. I had a sales guy that worked for me one time that he's like, I don't want to be too pushy. I don't want to be. And I said, listen, man, what you think is like bending them over the table is actually you kissing them on the cheek. Like, there are a lot worse salespeople out there than what you could even potentially like believe your worst case could be, right? And so I would tell you, ask for the sale. Don't feel like you're selling to people. If you believe in your service, and this comes into like believing what you're selling, believing in what you're selling, believing in what you're selling, there we go, then you have to understand that, like, hey, man, I know that I bring value, right? Like, if I'm going to pressure wash your house and the algae's not going to be there anymore, like, I know it's going to look great. Have that confidence. Understand that client, that prospect, will not recognize that value unless they do business with you, right? If you're going to protect that person with life insurance, right? Like, you believe in that product, right? You have to understand you need stories of people that you've helped or that your coaches or mentors have told you about that they were able to help, right? That belief is so very, very, very important. And now I don't think this is like anything you said. How do I close more deals without feeling like I'm being pushy? That's a feels thing, right? Maybe you just need to work on that, meditate on that, pray on that, that you need to understand how to be more emotionally intelligent, to understand that your feelings, there is what's true and what is truth, right? And so while your feelings might be like truth to you, they're not true in the sense that the customer feels like you're being pushy. What I would challenge you to do, David, is like try to go be so pushy. Say, man, you know what? On this next call, it's not a referral. I don't know this person from Adam. I'm going to be the pushiest, hardest closing. Like, I'm walking out of here with a deal. This dude don't even see me coming, man. I got this one. It's in the bag. Lock it up. Put it on the board, coach. Try to be as pushy and salesy as you can and see if the customer is like, David, you're being too pushy here. You're being too salesy, David. I don't like this. I'm not doing business with you, right? It's probably not going to happen, man. I really don't think it's going to happen. But you got to try to go fill that boundary out. So then you can say, okay, well, I'll just do half of that from now on. Like, if I thought that was like me being the pushiest person I could be, like, let me just do like half of that from now on. And like, I'll be a long cry from where we're at already. So, cool. All right, one more, guys. I know I said that was the last one. Let me do one more here. I'm looking. Okay. Let's do Devin. Devin from Miami asks, Coach, I see a lot of people talking about their wins online, but they never talk about the tough days. Woo, those internet heroes. When you feel like quitting or when things aren't going your way, how do you push through? Oh, that's good. That's good. I try to do a really good job, first and foremost, Devin, of like sharing my losses, right? Like the story about my gym, Elite Fitness, that I lost, the struggles of just being in business, the ongoing struggle of growing a business. Because let me tell you, like, man, Yard Smart, my first business, I started straight out of high school mowing grass, right? When I turned down those football scholarships, I'm like, I'm going to go be an entrepreneur. This was way before fucking being an entrepreneur was cool, right? Gary Vee wasn't around yet to tell everybody it was cool to be a business owner or entrepreneur. It took me 3 years to break 100 grand. It was like my first year, like I worked like all summer or whatever. It was like $8,000 or something, right? It's like nothing. And this next year was like 40 some $1,000. And then like the third year, it was like I was so pissed. It was like 97, 98 and some change, right? Like missed my $100,000 goal by like a couple $1,000. And the problems that I had at that level are not the problems that I had at a $500,000, or not a problem that you have at your first million, your second, third, fourth. Like as you scale, the problems will change. And so there's I almost said something that was untrue. I almost said that there's never been a point where I didn't feel like quitting, because that's not true. Um, I have felt like giving up. I've felt like quitting before. And I think you have to remember why you started. What was it that got you to go chase this dream in the first place? For me, it was a chip on my shoulder in the early days of like my teacher and my guidance counselor, like telling me, you'll never be as successful trying to be a business owner as you would just going to being a chemical engineer. Maybe for you, you got somebody that told you couldn't do it, right? Maybe you got a family. Maybe you got a family and you said, hey, man, where I'm at's not where I want to be, and this is not the life that I want them to live. On your hard days, on your dark days, remember that. That'll pull you through. For me now, it's about giving back, man. If I have hard days, tough days, bad days, dark days, I tell myself now that I'm doing it for little DJ. Little 18-year-old DJ that wanted to be a business owner and nobody would help him out, and he couldn't find the information and the knowledge and the resources. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that kid stumbles upon on IG or in the podcast or on YouTube and says, hey, man, Coach Carroll told me to believe in myself and nobody else does. Hell yeah, I'm going to keep fighting for another day. Because let's face it, Devin, at the end of the day, man, you only got to fight one day at a time. I had a mentor tell me one time, he said, DJ, the bankers only come around once a month. The utility company only comes around once a month. The car loan only comes around once a month. You only got to fight them once a month, man. So 12 times a year, and you've got your first year under your belt, right? And I know that sounds so elementary, but listen, in the early days, in the beginning, when you're looking at bank accounts and there's too much, what did Joe Biden use? Oh, there's too much month left at the end of the money. Yeah, that happens. And so don't compare your behind the scenes reel, like your real life, your documentary, to the people that are putting highlights reels on the internet because they're selling some flashy gimmick, some little this or that. Don't let yourself get caught up in that, man. Understand that you're fighting your own battle. You're running your own race. You have your own objectives to achieve. And this is why I keep saying we need to stop glorifying these influencers and putting into people's heads that, $10 million isn't a lot of money, or $100 million isn't a lot of money. Like, we got to start giving the flowers to the guy that starts a small business, makes 100 grand, 150 grand a year, provides for his family, lives a good life, never misses a soccer practice, never misses a dance recital, never misses a lunch with dads at the school. Like, for some reason, man, social media has completely distorted our vision and our interpretation of what is valuable. Because a Lambo, it's cool. I drove a 458 Italia at the track a couple years ago. 3 hot laps at the Corvette Museum track. That's a badass car, bro. It was sick. It was nasty. It was like, I mean, it's just ripping gears and then slamming on the brakes in the corner. But how long are you going to be happy if that's the goal? You're going to get there. You're going to drive the car, and 2 years from now, that's going to be a 2-year-old car to you. And so I want you to set your expectations, your goals, your dreams on solid foundations. And I'll tell you, the more I focus on taking the gifts and the talents that God's given me to build his kingdom, to go make the world a better place, to help other people, dude, it just keeps getting better and better. Hope that helps, Devin. Appreciate you writing in, man. Well, guys, I got to wrap it up. We will close this episode out. I got to hop into this next podcast interview here in a second. This has been fun, man. We'll do more of these AMAs. Make sure you submit your questions. Send me a DM, an IG DM. Leave it in a comment somewhere if you're on YouTube. Watch this on YouTube or the podcast. Or you guys can always send me an email, dj@carroll.media. dj@carroll.media or dj@coachcarroll.com. And then be sure to check out coachcarroll.com / podcast for all the episodes as they're dropping. Make sure you get subscribed. And if you haven't already, please leave a comment, a thumbs up, a share, or a review. It helps me get this podcast in front of more people so that we can help more people achieve their dreams. Until next time, I'm your host. Hustle, it's worth it. See you guys.